Hi, I'm Drew, a drag queen living in LA with my husband Curtis, my dog JB, and currently, most of my things.
We'll see. We will see. It's a long podcast. I'm Grant. I'm a former pastor. I live in Florida with my wife, 4 kids, a couple of dogs. No wildfires here. Only prayer and safety.
It's kind of scarier. That's scarier.
Drew, actually, we spent a lot of time in this podcast catching up about your experiences in the wildfire. It's very scary. Harrowing, some might say.
It is
harrowing.
Scary. And we deal through it with humor, you know. Well, I'm sorry.
The only way you know how.
Grant deals with hearing about my trauma with humor. So get ready for that. Also,
It's so funny.
We get to celebrate the death of a terrible woman. Enjoy the show.
Glad she's gone.
May she rot. Hi, I'm Drew. Oh, hey.
And I'm Grant, and I'm probably not. Drew, I've heard some stuff about LA. And I'm not just saying the normal stuff.
Oh, because there's so many stars living here that people talk about it?
That's part of the normal stuff. I was saying not just the normal stuff about how it's, what did our church always call Hollywood? Hollyweird.
Oh,
I'm not just talking about all the
ouch,
weird
that
stuff.
That hurts.
The Hollyweird.
That hits deep.
I hear it's a little hot over there, buddy. Are you got smoke? You got fire?
Yeah.
You got smoke inhalation?
Let me tell you this, and
Please do.
I won't be able. First of all, I want to apologize to all IMHO listeners because Alexis and I will be talking about this for the next month. So prepare to hear this story 100 times. It is quite literally the single scariest weather experience I've ever been a part of, and that includes the tornado where I was at
that
Betsy's
ripped our
house.
grandmother's house off of us. Killed our uncles. This is scarier.
They were standing outside with guns shooting at the tornado. They were kind of
I thought it was going to work. They thought it was going to work. We all did.
When I was in high school, we were in tornadoes all the time. Memphis was Tornado Alley. I'm in my best friend in high school's Betsy's house. There's a tornado coming. It's heading right at us. So we have to go into this tiny closet, and there are 400 family members in this tiny closet.
So let me get this straight. You're in a closet, metaphorically, as a gay man, and now you're in a physical closet.
Okay, to be fair,
with your voice
at Betsy's house, I didn't always have to live in the closet. At Betsy's house, it was my safe space. At Betsy's house, even in a tornado, I felt safe and loved.
Cool.
And then they had this dog that was stinky. You know, dogs that are like certain dogs, they always have a skin rash, and you're like, I don't know where that came from. They're just stinky.
And their eyes are always draining.
Yes.
And they just smell weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
love all of them,
literally us sitting on top of each other, we also have this dog sitting on top of us that is very overweight and stinky and farts when it gets nervous. Like when it gets scared, it whines and farts and whines and farts.
So you brought a fart
Even that wasn't as scary
closet.
as what we're going through right now. No, it's for those of you who've never been through this, it's going to be very hard to explain because it's like, well, fire, what? What do you mean your city's on fire? Let me walk you through it. It has been a wild ride. I am feeling okay right now. I'm feeling okay. Like, we've been through a lot. It seems like every day we wake up with a new fire or a new threat specifically to us, which is not good. The Palisades fire that seemed worlds away is now down the street. Yesterday, I sent you the picture. We could see the flames from like our roof, and it was scary as fuck. Today, we only see smoke. There's no more flames, which is good because the wind shifted. But if the wind shifts back, you know, like it's just... Anyway, so night one of all of this, Curtis comes home early from work, and we know we're supposed to have these like crazy winds. So we're just getting ready to like hear the wind. And the wind was crazy. It did sound like there were trains outside our house all night. Like it was very scary, and just everything got torn up. Well, in the middle of it, a transformer blew. That explosion was across the street from us.
Autobots.
It was so loud. It was so loud. And I was like, what the fuck? We're going through all of that. Then the fires start in the Palisades, and it's out of control. Or they'd already started. I don't know. We sat without power. I had taken a gummy because Curtis got off work early. And I was like, I'm going to take a gummy so we can watch the end of Squid Game and I can just kind of vibe. The power went out, and now there's fires, and no one knows exactly what that means for us. And I was so paranoid. I was so scared. We go to sleep without power, whatever. Wake up the next day, there's power.
Was this...
Wonderful.
What kind of gummy is this? Sativa?
Indica. Indica. Sativa's like more
I
alert. Indica's
I
into
know,
couch.
but like if I'm gonna watch something like Squid Game, I can't do indica because I just like I melt. I lose my memory.
I love that feeling. But then I
But
get to watch it again.
But oh, you do go back. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I can't do
So
it.
the next day, we're getting a little nervous, but we're like, I think we're going to be okay. Like, we're far enough away.
Yeah.
Like, we're fine.
And I had been praying for you. I told you
And
that.
thank you for that. And
I've
truly,
been staying up all
your
night.
mouth to God's ears. I bet he was as talkative now as he used to be.
As he's
with
ever
you.
been.
Yeah.
As he's ever been. It
No,
was just
so
like riding a bike that doesn't have wheels.
I'm like, okay, it's like 7, 8 at night. We're fine. Like, the Palisades fire is not going to get us. It's so far away.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the Eden fire had started yet, but like, yes, it had. We had a fire above us and a fire to like the side of us. I pop a gummy and I'm like, redo. And then as soon as I pop the fucking gummy, the Hollywood Hills are on fire. The Hollywood Bowl, which is not far.
Not the hills.
In the grand scheme of things. So now
give everyone your address so they can
Shut
see.
up.
They can kind of picture it.
So now
What
we're
is
surrounded
that?
by fire. Okay, except
Yeah.
for the south. We're surrounded by fire. And now I'm like, okay, Curtis is also like, I don't know what this means. Like this is much closer than we thought. We felt good about it because they had cleared all the brush at the top of the hill, built these dirt walls, like a blockage for the fire. Curtis and I are both like, well, at least it didn't cross the hill. If it crosses the hill and goes down, then we need to start worrying. But like, it hasn't crossed the hill. None of these fires are on our side of the hill. We're fine.
Yeah. Forget the
And
other side.
feeling good about it, I go back downstairs. I'm starting to settle in on the couch. The gummy has hit. I'm like, okay, great. This is going to be a good night. Then we get a notification that there's a fire in Studio City. And not just in Studio City, but like on top of Alexis's house. We can see the flames from our roof, and all the maps that we're following have a big giant flame over Alexis's neighborhood. And I'm like, oh, so it not only did it jump, it literally jumped the entire hill and landed on Alexis's house. Cool. It didn't.
Yeah.
Alexis's house did not burn. Don't worry. We panicked.
She'd just fallen asleep with a cigarette in her hand again.
Listen,
It's just a common house
let
fire.
women have their vices. Why don't we allow women to just break loose every now and then? Anyway, so
really need it.
I call Alexis. She's with her boyfriend at his place. So like, she's okay. We call her other roommates, like, get the fuck out. Curtis and I had already started packing bags just in case. I have to admit to you though, Grant, Curtis took it a lot more
Please.
seriously than I did. Because when we were ready to
Well,
go.
you had gummied pretty hard at this point.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, I didn't tell Curtis. I was embarrassed that I had gotten really paranoid the night before, and then it was happening again, but worse.
So he's like trying to get your shit together.
And
You're tripping balls.
But I'm trying to be fair, it hadn't fully hit at that point, but it's there.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
looming.
So what are you doing? How are you acting in this moment? Because
I literally
trying to
went-
act normal when you're not is the worst.
I had so much adrenaline in my body because the other thing is the thing that
Because
like
you've been smoking adrenaline too. We
Exactly.
haven't talked about this, but that's like your thing.
gasoline. It's the same thing to Gavin Newsom.
Am I right?
It's all evil. I think there
don't
was so much adrenaline in me that I snapped out of it a little, but I was just shaking. And I opened the suitcase that I had packed, and I had like
What was in it?
2 sweatshirts and some underwear. There was nothing in it. So I just start grabbing bags.
Oh my
and,
God, that's funny.
And just start shoving shit. Like, it took me forever to set up for this podcast because I didn't know where everything was. Like, I tried to take everything valuable that I could think of, you know?
Yeah. So all our photo albums, Grant and Drew photo albums.
No,
That was in
but we did have, right before we left, Curtis was like, oh, where's my dad's stuff? So Curtis's dad used to mail us Jerry boxes once a month were just like, as he was going through the basement or like cleaning out his office, he would just fill boxes with stuff and send it to us with little Post-it notes. And they'd be like used batteries or like a dental toy. Like, it was always just really bizarre. And he cut
But it was
out
something
articles
that he thought was connected to
in some way.
Curtis?
In some way.
Okay.
Yeah. And
hey,
but
you used to use batteries. Remember that?
No, he'd be like, I think these are new. That's what he would do. He'd be like, I think these work. And he'd send them. He would
I'm
also
going to start
cut
sending
out,
you Grant boxes. This is fantastic.
Exactly.
I love this idea.
he would cut out a bunch of New Yorker cartoons and send those. Anyway, we have boxes of Jerry's stuff. And especially after he died, like I never got rid of it to start with, but now it's like important, you know? And Curtis is like, is my dad's stuff easily accessible? Which of course it wasn't, but I was like, no worries. Like, I will go get it. And there was like just a bunch of boxes. And I was like, here, babe. And I hand him, and he goes, which one's this? And I was like, it's filled to the brim with stuff your dad wrote. It might be batteries, but at the very least, there are notes. You know, like we were just trying to shove anything we could think of.
If anyone wants to send a Jerry box to Drew, that would be so fantastic. You've got his P.O. box. I'll put it in the show notes.
He'd love to send really old magazines and New Yorker cartoons.
Any with the tear apart perfume. They don't make those anymore. Any with the tear apart perfume.
I'm sure. Oh,
that's
You're
so
welcome
cool. I listened to a podcast
it.
about that the other day. I want one so bad.
You're welcome to go through it. I'm sure we have some.
Anyone
but anyway, so we grab all our stuff and we just hightail it. Like we grab the dog. We're just out.
Yeah.
A lot of our
neighbors. Who didn't do that, you coward?
Jesus.
Steve Gutenberg. Steve Gutenberg went back in. He moved cars. He hosed stuff down.
Did you see that picture or that video when the news interviewers, they're interviewing him and he goes, and what's your name, sir? And he goes, Steve Gutenberg. He's so hot to me, by the way. He was the hottest of all.
Really?
Yes. 3 Men and a Baby.
Like today.
He was so hot.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, yeah. Young Steve Gutenberg, I'm with you. Good looking fella. Today?
Yep. I would take Steve Gutenberg over Ted Danson.
Wow.
Yeah. And Tom Selleck's dead. So anyway.
Oh, he's just really Republican. Is that what you mean?
Oh, is he alive?
Are you kidding?
I killed him in my head.
Okay.
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds is dead.
Anyway.
William Shatner's dead.
We say fuck it. We get in the car and we just start driving south. Friends of ours in North Hollywood, which is like a neighboring neighborhood.
Is it like north of you?
What? Oh, North You're
Hollywood.
Making a joke. Oh, this is fun. I really like this. This is fun. We start just heading towards Newport Beach because like it's easy to get to and it's quick and we know they're heading there. And then like I'm looking for hotels. Anyway, so we're feeling good about it. We're both like, I was genuinely relieved that I didn't have a partner like our dad. Remember when like there'd be tornadoes in our neighborhood and our dad would go sit on the front porch or stand in front of the glass door while we were all like under mattresses?
Yeah,
like,
I do the same thing.
I'm so...
I'm the exact same way.
That's so weird. That's fucking weird, dude.
Why? You can see him coming.
Great. And then what?
I'll go hide with everyone else.
Okay. Well, anyway, I was just so thankful
that... They don't just drop out. Like, they don't just go like, whoop, and then pull you up. Like,
sometimes they do.
You see him coming.
Sometimes they do. You don't... Have you ever seen the movie Twisters or the sequel Twisters Return? As we're driving down, we're both just talking about how, like, relieved we are that we both decided, like, it's just not worth it. We don't know what's going to happen. We were in a fire watch zone, not an evacuation zone. And then just suddenly there's a fire down the street. I don't give a fuck what the zones are. Like, let's just go.
Yeah.
As we're driving down, we find out that the house that was on fire, that I do think caught 2 other houses on fire, was now contained. And it turned out to be a house fire. A poorly timed house fire.
What a great time for arson, though. Like, if you're,
that's the cause of one of the giant fires we have now that has, like, taken thousands of acres. So that's something that happens, apparently, when these wildfires happen. Arsonists realize it's a good time to do it because, like, people aren't going to question it in the moment. They're just so desperate to stop it. And then looting. People like to go loot evacuated neighborhoods. So, which is something I'd never, ever thought about. Which I have to be honest, like, for the Palisades, well, the Palisades is fully gone. But if, let's say that some of the houses survived, for the richest people in this fucking town, I don't mind if they get a little looted. I don't mind if they get a little looted. Anyway.
Hey guys, you get a little looted, though.
But we find out it was a house fire. We fled from a house fire. Can you imagine hear there's a house fire?
Which, if it's in your house, you should flee.
You should.
Let's go on the record. If it's in your house, you should flee.
And Alexis's closeness to it, I thought was too close for comfort. She definitely should have stayed out. But Curtis and I did not need to leave. But it's late. It's at this point, we left at like 10. I mean, it is like night. We're just driving and we're like, fuck it. Even though it was just a house fire, like, we don't know what's going on. We're tired. Like, let's just go somewhere. So we end up, Newport Beach has nothing under $1,000 that night. So we find we could just drive to Laguna Beach, which has much more affordable options.
How far is that from you? How far of a drive is that?
Newport was like an hour. I think Laguna took us like an hour 15, if that.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really close.
That's not bad. Yeah.
So I was like, well, I used to watch that show. on TV. So sure, I'll go to Laguna Beach. We found this, everything was sold out, but we found this hotel that had a few rooms left and it looked really nice. And we were like, great. And we get there. Every room in that hotel had been redone, but we came after all those rooms had been sold. So I told Curtis, I did a lot of research. And keep in mind,
no.
I'm so high.
Right.
We are driving on the road.
Does Curtis know this?
No.
Is he picking up on that?
No.
Are you still shaking?
No, I was like packing and like running through the house, I was like shaking.
You sang that song, "Hold Me, Jesus," because I'm shaking like a leaf.
No, I didn't. I honestly didn't.
You've
So
been
anyway,
king
so
of
my husband is like driving, so I'm
Prince of
looking for
Peace.
hotels and I'm struggling. I'm really struggling because I'm forgetting what I'm doing in the moment. Like I'm forgetting,
Right.
wait, why did I come to this website? Why did I pick this
Right.
hotel? Really, it was just the JB of it all. And I was just trying to find a dog-friendly hotel, but like,
Right.
anyway, I had all this stuff in my head and I couldn't make sense of it. So we find this place. It's super cute. We get inside and it's like garbage. I mean, it's like a Best Western from the 90s today. It was so bad. But it was so dark. We couldn't even really see the hotel. Like, I mean,
Right.
it's a beach town. We were across the street from the ocean. Like, it was dark. And so we were like, fuck it, let's just get in. And we went to sleep. And then when I came out the next morning and I see the women cleaning the rooms like on our route or whatever, the rooms on either side of us were so nice. And I was like, oh, those are the pictures I saw. Oh,
You had the historical room.
I got the historical
the one
one.
they preserved.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But then once we found out that they were just the house fire, we were like, well, let's just go back. Like, we don't know. Getting out was a lot easier than we thought. Because that was my biggest thing. Is like, y'all don't understand that, like, in the valley, there are very few exit options. And it's either a 2-lane road that snakes through the hills that are on fire or the packed interstate. Like, it's not easy to get out of here. So that was my biggest fear. Because I saw all the bulldozers pushing the cars that people had to abandon. I was like, I don't want to be in that situation. That's like the worst case scenario. Like, let's get the fuck out of here. But it was really easy and fast. And as long as we like leave right at the start of something close to us, like we'll be fine. So I feel a lot better. But we weren't expecting the Palisades fire to make it over here. It did, in fact, jump the hill and is heading down. It jumped the first ridge. Did we take you to the Getty Museum?
We drove by it and you told me a story every time we saw it. If it was like in the skyline, you would tell me a story about it. Yeah.
I love seeing it.
But
It's
you're
like
saying
the only point to look at on that drive. So it jumped the ridge, which they didn't expect. And now it's
you have
climbing
multiple ridges
Yes. Now it's climbing the second
for her
ridge
pleasure.
to come down to the Getty Village or to the Getty Museum. So the Getty is in terrible states. And then on top of that, it's heading towards Brentwood. Adam Sandler's fucked. All celebrities are fucked. Can I tell you one thing that I think is so funny?
No.
Anyway, so we're very nervous. We have now been upgraded. Like, our area is now in a different like watch zone than we were before.
What is it now? Really watch. Before it was like watch, and now it's like, hey, really.
Curtis's
really
restaurant in Santa Monica is fucked. They are in a like get out now zone. I don't know that the restaurant's gonna make it. Anyway.
Oh no.
It's so fucking scary. It's so unreal. It's so surreal. I can't even explain. And it's unprecedented. This has never happened before. It is 10 times the size of the Great Chicago Fire, the biggest fire in American history, like that hit a city. We are 10 times the size of that right now.
How are you sleeping? Like are
Gummies.
you sleeping in shifts?
Gummies.
No. I'm saying like what if there's an update in the middle of the night where they're
we
like,
have
get out.
we have the emergency alerts on, and I know that they work because fun fact, the day after we got back, or the day we got back from Laguna Beach, and we're feeling kind of like, okay, we made the right decision, so happy to be home. Someone accidentally sent an emergency evacuation to all of LA by accident, total accident. And do you know how they fixed the accident? They sent out another alert that said ignore the first alert, but with the alert sound, which was really scary. And then later that night, we're like, okay, we made it through the day.
God.
Nighttime, it gets a little worse, so we're a little worried about night, but like, whatever. Guess what? They did it again. They sent an accidental...
On accident?
Yep. They sent a second oopsie daisy to everyone in LA telling them to get out.
They got to get... Shaky Sam needs a new job.
I know.
Like, I'm all for him doing what he loves, but when you got to be around buttons...
It's
you gotta
crazy.
Be steady, bro. You need steady Sam.
No, so we feel
not shaky Sam.
We feel pretty confident, but I say that knowing that like a lot of what they're saying is, oh, well, it won't ever do this, and then it did. It won't ever. Oh, it definitely won't do this, and it did. The point where I'm out, like I would demand that we leave for a long time is if it jumps the 405, which they're saying it could never jump the 405. The 405 is so wide; it's basically a big concrete like barrier that it has to cross. It'll never cross that, but it's crossing everything. So if it crosses the 405,
every line,
I'm out.
You got to think though. I mean, Drew, you've had moments in your life where people have doubted you, where people have not believed in you. People have vocally said, "You'll never." And now here's this fire, and people were saying, "It'll never cross that ridge. It'll never make it over here." You got to kind of be a little in awe of its persistence.
Oh,
you know?
I think it's making it stronger, and I'm proud of it.
It did.
I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's growing.
For sure.
It's really scary. I will say the thing that, in a way, made me feel a little better about it, not about the devastation, obviously, but I said to Curtis, like, because a big reason this is happening is because, I don't know if you remember this, but when I moved here...
Gay people, gay marriage.
Yes, of course. The first winter we lived here, we set records for the amount of rainfall in LA. The entire time we've lived here, that vegetation the new vegetation that grew out of that rainfall hasn't gotten any water. So it's all died off. But it's all still here. And so now it's burning because of all of that. I was telling Curtis, like, that's so sad because the entire time we've lived here, it's been green. Like, there's just been green it's been beautiful. And I kind of forgot that it's not supposed to look like this. And he's like, well, that's how this is made. This type of foliage, it's built to burn. That's part of the natural ecosystem. Before human beings, wildfires existed, and it was to save the trees from whatever diseases or bacteria it had gotten.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that, brother, because in the Bible...
Oh, sorry. I didn't know you were quoting something from science. Go for it.
He did create the land, but it was just a couple of days later, mankind came along. And there was no mention of wildfires.
You're right.
None.
But
I've read it tens of times. None.
But you know how Curtis is. He's an actor. He has to use his imagination. But it did make me feel better, even though it's not real. They are supposed to burn. It's unfortunate that we built around them, so we put our homes in danger. But like, I was just like, oh no, all that stuff is dying. But no, it's actually really good for the forest parts that are burning. Not forests, but the hillsides that are burning, because it kills off all the stuff that would have been killing it to start. And it's just kind of how it's set up to be.
By a higher power. By Jesus.
Overall, I'm just
fire.
Really scared. I'm just really, and they said that our like wind advisory, like the worst of it, was supposed to end on Friday, and now they're supposed to end on Wednesday. It's scary. We just don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm sorry you're feeling that way.
Thanks. You can't apologize for my feelings. That's fucked up. That was such a man apology.
I'm sorry that you're scared. I can say that. I wish you weren't feeling scared.
Thank you.
And I want to try to encourage you. I used to be a pastor, so I can do this. Drew, in the middle of difficult moments like this, when there's fire surrounding you, and you feel like no one is looking out for you, I want you to remember this. God, He's not there either. You're all alone. You're really fucked.
Can I be honest? That makes me feel better. Can you imagine? Yeah. Well, you can't imagine. You did it for 20 years. Can you imagine being like, there's this all-knowing, all-loving God who I worship and adore. He's burning my house in front of me, but I'm sure it's my fault.
He wouldn't burn my house. He's in L.A. taking it to Hollyweird right now. And you New York elites, you watch yourself.
How can we control the weather, but we can't control these fires? Like, how are we able to give you hurricanes?
It's simple, because Trump's about to be inaugurated, and you leftists want to make it look like he's creating disasters. Like he's not going to be able to fix this quickly.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to embarrass him. So you're willing to burn your homes down just to mess with the evangelical Pope.
Yes.
Donald J. Trump.
And thus saith the Lord, and yes, and such
Donald
as.
J. Trump. Amen.
Okay, you've made some good points.
Drew.
Never mind. I fear no more. I know it's for the greater good.
This has been really stressful, and I'm sorry. And I'd like to set up a GoFundMe to support me.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's been hard on me. I don't think I'm working as much. I'm not making as much money as I normally do, with all my jobs, because I'm at home worried about you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with GoFundMe.
And I thank you for
I'll put
that.
the
I
link.
do think I also just really proud of you for prioritizing yourself in this moment, because I know it can be really stressful for you to think about me going through this.
So stressful.
So the
It's
fact
hard.
that you're not
I hate
reaching out and asking him if I'm okay, I know is you taking care of you. And I'm glad that you're doing that. I just want you to know. Thank you for not texting me ever. That's been so nice.
I don't want to, so I don't
Can I share some good news in all of this?
Okay.
James Woods' home burned down.
Ah.
Just as a reminder, James Woods from Hollywood and such as, he's a right-wing nut job. He actually tweeted out in November, no ceasefire, no compromise, no forgiveness, kill them all.
And he was obviously talking about school shooters, right? He's talking about
No, he
was talking
those.
to school shooters.
No,
he was like,
oh,
listen, don't cease fire.
Yeah.
Kill them all. No surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of sucks. So that's pretty cool. That's good news.
Yeah. No, he's garbage. And I
hope the Goot's doing fine,
the Hada what?
The Goot. Oh, you call him Steve Gutenberg. It's just something I've always called him.
Oh, he's not.
The Goot.
He lost his home.
Fuck.
Anyway, I'm just really happy that James Woods is sad.
Yeah.
Eat my dick, James Woods.
Hey, James Woods, eat his dick. Leave my dick alone.
Eat my dick. You're a piece of shit.
Hey, speaking of piece of shit.
Yeah.
You texted me.
Yes, I did.
You're a piece of shit. About the death of someone that happened in December who was a piece of shit all the way to the end. And you said, hey, we haven't talked about it. I would love to talk about her and how great she is.
Hell yeah.
And then I went, yeah, that'd be great. Because I knew the name. I knew her general shittiness, but I didn't actually know a lot about her. And so I looked her up. She's a real piece of shit. I'd love to speak to she mobilized evangelicals as well. And I'd love to talk about that connection as well. So, Drew, who did you text me about?
There are certain people who have lived that even after they die, the shitty things they do continue to hurt people. And I do believe the world is a worse place because they were in it. Jerry Falwell is one of those for me.
Senior and junior.
Well, Junior's alive, unfortunately. Well, I don't want him dead. I just want him to watch his wife get fucked in peace and leave me alone.
Yeah, that's all.
Listen, we are it's the era of the cuck. Okay, we know how it works.
80s.
Enjoy your life, man.
Do it.
Anyway,
Man.
just
no
leave gay people alone. Anyway, no, the bitch who died, and I'm happy about it, was Anita Bryant. Anita Bryant died, and I am so thrilled. Anita Bryant was this piece of shit. Sorry. She was a singer, an actress. She was like a beauty queen. She was a singer in the 50s and 60s. And then in the 70s, she became like a spokesperson for orange juice or something.
Florida orange juice. Which was huge. Now, it's not now, as you know, of course, a blight came through our state and rocked it. So now California is the number one producer.
Yeah, but now ours is burning. So you can have it again.
Oh, shit. No orange juice.
Yeah, so she became really well known, and she had a booming career for both her music and also because she was the spokesperson. And she decided in the 70s that it was a perfect time for her to come out as an anti-gay activist. Sure.
Save the children.
Well, that's what I was going to say is sure.
You gotta save them.
A crazy celebrity spouting off garbage about gay people. It's not new, and it definitely still happens. We've got the Kirk Camerons. We've got the Cameron Burr.
We got all the Camerons. We got Cameron.
And that's not new. What made it different with Miss Anita over here was, number one, she was a stinky ass bitch. And number two, she started this thing called Save the Children. So what we hear now from Ron DeSantis and other just garbage people about we're grooming kids and all of that, that came from Anita Bryant.
I had no idea.
That. Yeah, so
I had no idea.
She had this whole theory that is still being used today that, again, she made up that gay people can't have kids. We can't have kids. So if we don't recruit kids, then we'll die out. There won't be any gay people anymore. Which, by the way, if you've ever met a gay person, that would not bother me. If I knew that there were no gay people behind me, I don't give a fuck. I
Well,
would love
I
to be
think
the
you
last
would.
one. No, I
You'd
could
like
be
to
the
have 'em
last living
behind
gay
ya.
person.
You know what I'm
That's
saying,
cool
brother?
as shit. I could go around and I could suck all the dicks on the down low. You know what I mean?
Well, wouldn't that... Okay.
It doesn't make them gay if they say it's not. She's the one that came up with that insane idea because where were all the gay people from that she was fighting against? Straight families.
Can I give you a quote from her on that I thought was rather perfect?
What?
As a mother, I know that homosexuals cannot biologically reproduce children. Therefore, they must recruit our children. That's scary. Drew, you got to admit, it's scary. They're coming for my kids.
And that is the language that is still being used today to villainize gay people, to kill them.
Do you know that
she made the world
another
worse?
Phrase?
Oh, God,
absolutely.
What was it?
She invented another phrase.
I'm a stinky old bitch. Was that her phrase?
Yeah. She invented another phrase that you have heard said 1,000,000 times, and I personally have said 1,000,000 times, I'm certain. And I'm sorry that I ever said it. It's awful. Sorry. She said, love the sinner, hate the sin. Now that will be preached this weekend.
Forever.
There will be some church somewhere, multiple churches somewhere. Someone will say, but listen, people who love each other, consenting adults who are the same sex, who love each other, no, that's sin. That's wrong. But do we hate them? No, we just say that their love is invalid. We say that our love is superior.
We say they're disgusting. We're okay
we
with them
remove
being
rights.
hurt.
We remove rights away from them. We say that they're not really worthy of any type of love, at least not any type of like holy love, according to us.
Oh, I get my holy love. Oh,
but I don't.
Oh, I get my holy love.
Sometimes you say stuff and it makes me want to like go back to Anita Bryant's side. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'm like, maybe did she have a point?
Grant, the way I do it, I want to go back to Anita Bryant's side. Okay.
We love the sinner. We just hate the sin. We just hate the sin.
That
was her. That was her phrase.
Fart on her grave. I can't wait for.
I would love for her to get posthumously get pink
on.
eye.
Yeah,
get pink eye from Drew.
That
would be great.
I was so happy she died. I think the only other time I've had such a visceral reaction to someone's death was Rush Limbaugh. He loomed heavy on our household. He
was the soundtrack of my childhood.
Yeah. I've heard more Rush Limbaugh, and I listen to podcasts 8 hours a day, and I have heard more Rush Limbaugh than I have anyone else in the world. Like, I know that man's voice. When I heard that he died, he is also someone who I think the world is worse because he was in it.
Oh, for certain.
So when they die, like when Anita Bryant dies, of course I'm thrilled. But she was 84. At the same time that gay people were like, she's crazy, like leave us alone. She's winning Good Housekeeping awards and she's winning Family Love awards. And, you know, like she lived a great life and that's not fair. I mean, life's not fair, but.
Let's hope she didn't. Let's hope that she was unhappy.
That is the one thing that I did want to talk about specifically about her today was the gay man who pied her in the face on live television. It is iconic. This man is my personal hero. And instead of continuing on speaking more about Anita Bryant's fucking life, I wanted to tell you about the guy who threw a fucking pie in her face on TV.
I didn't know. So same thing when I was looking into her, I'm reading all this stuff and I don't know, it was the third thing I read. Like it wasn't the first couple links. The third thing I read was like, oh, in 1977, she got pied in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Gay Twitter was all just pictures of her with pie in her face. So like, I know that it's kind of out there, but
I love it. So can I tell you too, God, her continued impact on our world and our understanding of family and all that shit.
Yeah.
There was a new license plate issued in the state of Florida.
Oh no.
And I started seeing this license plate and it was black, which is bizarre. We don't have, like, it's Florida. I don't know.
Really?
Black hot. We don't have hot. So we don't have a lot of black license plates. And it had a white something in the middle. I couldn't make it out. And I was like, that is so strange. And so I literally like got behind the car because I wanted to see what this, because you could see it said Florida, but I was like, I don't know what that is. It said family first at the bottom. And then the picture in the middle, it was a silhouette of supposedly a man, a woman, and children. And I was like, oh, gross.
Yeah.
Is this like a thing? Now I would call it, is this an Anita Bryant thing? And those fucking license plates are everywhere. So that's cool. That's cool. I would like to pie those people in the face.
And hopefully you will one day, but the jail part,
Go to
not
jail?
the pie part. One thing that gay bars did when she came out as like super anti-gay, and she was currently, I think at the time, the spokesperson for orange juice or whatever, Florida orange
Yeah,
juice.
she lost it. She got protested the shit out of, and she
Yeah.
lost it. And then her marriage fell apart, and she like disappeared. Motherfucker, you're over here going like, I know the way, and I know my love is superior, and look at my marriage.
Because
and then it fell apart, and she didn't have anything to say.
Because
she just
anyone
disappeared.
who speaks out that harshly about other people, or this specifically the gay community, are so deeply unhappy with themselves. And most of the time, they're wrestling their own same-sex attraction, that they just go so hard to just find some sense of like, no, I'm right. This is wrong. What I'm thinking is wrong. This is wrong. This is all wrong.
So it's like a projection. Most of the time, it's some sort of projection.
Yeah.
Which isn't always true for people, because obviously I'm opposed to the micropenis community, and you know that, and I'm passionate about it.
Talk about it
and
a lot.
I talk about it a lot, and that has nothing to do with me. That's nothing to do with me. Nothing, Drew. Yeah. Everything to do with them. They're the problem. They're tearing our families apart. They want our children or something. It doesn't matter. Hate them. That's not me.
Yeah.
If I was one of them, I wouldn't say those things. I wouldn't be so hateful. I wouldn't be so passionate.
I'm going to have to cut you off, much like the doctor accidentally did. And we do need to keep moving. We do need to keep moving with this. Okay. Let me introduce you to Thom Higgins. Okay?
Love it.
Hero.
Love the name.
Okay, Thom Higgins, born in 1950, June 17th, was an American writer and gay rights activist, credited with coining the term gay pride. He's best known... Yeah.
We've got gay pride versus hate the sin, love the sinner.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
2 marketing geniuses, one an evil asshole, but still.
And one really good aim. He was born in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin.
Beautiful.
Got really into journalism. Place. And so in 1969.
Nice.
Oh my God, this guy's insane. Nice. In 1969, he became the first person in Minnesota to be granted conscientious objector status from the Vietnam War. Around the time, cool. He joined the first repression of erotic expression, where he is credited with coining the term gay pride. He was terminated from his job at the state radio services for the blind as a result for being affiliated with that group.
Why? They're not reading any of that news.
Okay, I don't love that you said that, but it is kind of funny. On October 14th, 1977, this is his moment in the sun, Higgins and his friend and fellow gay rights activist Bruce Brockway attended a televised pre-concert press conference hosted by singer Anita Bryant, who was answering questions about her plan to open a network of Anita Bryant centers where homosexuals could go for rehabilitation. During the conference, Higgins got up and pushed a banana cream pie into Bryant's face. The video is all over the internet, so you can easily find it. I do suggest you watch the video. It's very funny. Afterwards, he and 4 companions exited the studio to answer questions for the media. He was never charged.
They weren't immediately arrested?
No, criminal charges were not filed against Higgins.
Now, she prayed for them, right?
I think so. That's why they didn't get arrested. She helped them.
She tearfully prayed for them.
Gorgeous.
Which made her
a martyr. Early in the year, Higgins had also been involved in the pieing of Archbishop John Roach. I love Thom Higgins. Okay, and then let me just finish. His life, unfortunately, doesn't go on much further.
Who's Thom Roach? What did he do? Why did he get
Archbishop.
I'm looking it up.
His tenure was touched by scandal with a drunk driving arrest and failure to properly handle sexual abuse cases by clergy. So, like, every priest.
Yeah, great job with the pie.
In 1980, Higgins and Brockway founded the Positively Gay Cuban Refugee Task Force in response to an influx of refugees fleeing Cuba. Among those refugees were gay men who faced legal persecution in their home country. They were all housed in refugee camps and were unable to leave without an American sponsor. The organization helped mobilize Minneapolis's gay community to sponsor gay refugees and allowed them to leave and resettle. Higgins died of AIDS complications on November 10th, 1994. He's buried in Roseville, Minnesota. That is Thom Higgins.
What do you think do you think his grave is like, do you think people leave pies at it?
I hope so. You know that he would think that's
so
funny.
Cool.
Thom Higgins is a hero, and we love him.
What a cool person.
Right?
Tommy boy.
That's so, can you imagine being related to him?
Gone too soon,
How
buddy.
proud you'd be.
That's how I'd lead every conversation.
By the way, my uncle pied Anita Bryant in the face. Hi. Happy Gay Pride. My uncle came up with that. Hello.
I would just have the video like on a loop and just pull it out at any point. Be like, oh, watch. Oh, it'll start.
Oh,
over
have
in a
you seen
second.
this
It's on a
yet?
loop.
Have
you seen this?
Sorry, it's only been out for like 50 years.
That's my
But
uncle.
here, have you seen this?
No big
This is
deal.
my uncle. It's not a big deal. Don't
That's
worry
my
about it.
uncle. As I thought about Anita Bryant,
You got hard.
our sister in the Lord, Anita Bryant. Do you know that when her marriage dissolved and
Sure.
she was having all these issues, she was interviewed about it in the Ladies' Home Journal. She acknowledged that there was backlash from Christians turned on her because she had a divorce, because that's what Christians do. You know, when you need help, go somewhere else. And she said that the church should be more loving and understanding towards individuals, including those in the LGBTQ plus community. And what's funny about that, this is what she said: the church needs to be more loving unconditionally and willing to see these people as human beings, to minister to them and try to understand. Now, hang on. So you're going, oh God, did she turn a corner? So she suffered personally the wrath of her own people. I don't know what that's like. And then it made her go, oh, well, maybe we should help gay people. Like, that's what it comes across as. Like, oh, maybe I was wrong.
You're Anita Bryant.
You know, like, no, listen.
You're Anita Bryant.
Listen.
You did
maybe
it.
I am.
The world is
Listen.
worse because you're in it. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, that might be true. She never recanted her views about homosexuals. Instead, what she was saying was, man, it fucking sucks to be mistreated, because now I'm mistreated by Christians. So maybe we should just not try to treat them so bad. She never recanted. She never was like, oh, hey, they're not actually going after our kids.
That's a big step.
Is it? Because then she died.
I changed my mind.
That was 40 years before she died.
I changed my mind.
So then she lived another 44 years.
She wasn't so bad. Misunderstood.
Never recanted.
We were
never
same.
recanted.
We both went
Continued
through stuff.
Working with ministries that were anti-gay. Never recanted.
Well, thank you, Grant, for telling me about that, because now I feel bad.
Well, I want to ask you. Let's keep going
judge.
bad. Let's keep going bad. I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
One of the things that was happening at that point in time, you had the rise of the religious right with Jerry Falwell.
Yes, Queen.
This is happening at the same time as Anita Bryant's rise.
Yeah.
And the religious right to mobilize this voting bloc had to pick some issues. Like abortion was not a church issue, and it became one.
Yeah.
But also, homosexuality, an anti-gay movement, was also not a thing. And now here it is in the church as like an organized thing. Yes, people were always anti-gay. Yes, it's 100% true. But it wasn't like this organized thing that it is now, but it became, because they got to pick something. And that's one of the things they picked. One of the things she did so successfully, unfortunately, was she mobilized Christians in this fucking hatred. Yeah. And it's so, political mobilization is so evil. Like it's evil in that way. And it's so anti-Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus in the early church never tried to fuck with politics. They never tried to fuck with the culture. And in fact, somebody tried to trip Jesus up once and brought him a coin that had Caesar's head on it. And he's like, what do we do with this? Who does this belong to? You know, like, am I supposed to be giving this to the state, or should this go to the church or whatever? And it was a political argument. He was trying to get Jesus trapped in a political argument at the time. And Jesus said, it's got Caesar's face on it. Give it back to Caesar. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. Give to the Lord what is the Lord's. You see that throughout like the early church. They were not trying to make political change or cultural change or forcing their beliefs on others, because that's hateful. In fact, I'm sorry to keep preaching, the Bible says that in 1 Corinthians 13, that love doesn't insist on its own way. Legislating morality, how is that not insisting on your own way? How is that not hateful in that way? And so, Drew, I want to ask you, as somebody who's been on the receiving end of that legislated morality.
Oh, of the legislative reality. Okay, go ahead.
And that hatefulness and a lot of dicks. The teachings that we learned, like Anita Bryant saying to love the sinner and hate the sin, I'm assuming that in those moments you internalized those things that were being said to you. Can you just tell me, like, what did it do to your self-worth? And how did you move away from it? How did you move through that? Because those things were deep in there. How did you even begin to disassemble that?
I love the confidence Anita Bryant had in her community to think that they could love the sinner and hate the sin. I think that's gorgeous. I think it shows. I think
That's a solid point. I've never thought about that. You're right. Yeah. Nobody fucking does that. They're terrible at it.
Great confidence in her community. And that's beautiful. Listen, I'm not going to.
That's really good.
If I can allow Anita anything, it's gonna be that she did believe in her community.
And that bitch could take a pie.
Now, for me to hate the sin,
she took a pie.
That involved me also kind of like hating myself automatically, because it was a part of me. And like, how can I hate? I don't get it. I'm going to speak in generalities to a degree, because I do think a lot of queer people who grew up in the same kind of situation that we did probably felt the exact same way.
And probably are. I mean, I'm imagining we've got younger listeners who in those households.
And I'm so sorry to everybody who's having to go through exactly this situation. I keep forgetting. I've just been out of it for so long. I think for my own like self-interest, self-love, I'm like, it doesn't happen anymore. It's all fixed. It's fixed. I'm out of it. It's fixed. Hate the sin, love the sinner was something that our dad loved to say. Our dad was like super into that phrase. It's a nice idea.
He fucking hated sin, dude.
Oh, man. He hated it so much. He almost hated the person, but he didn't. He knew where to draw the line. That's just not how humanity works. It's not how your brain works. And it's also something that's a part of me. So the thing that you think is a sin is just my sexuality. So you are straight. And someone is saying that your feelings towards girls, towards women, depending on how old you are, although in the Catholic Church, it doesn't really matter. Your feelings are sin. They are something that we hate. That feeling you have inside, I hate that, but I don't hate you. And then on the flip side, they're like, and it's a sin listen, all sin is equal, okay? Lying's a sin, and I hate when people lie. Like, I hate that sin. Murder's a sin.
Yeah, but who's walking around going like, lying is so central to who I am. I feel.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I can't breathe if I don't lie.
But in that same realm, it's the like.
Right.
We love murderers. We hate that they murdered. Oh, I'm sorry. You think that's what's inside of me is the same as what caused someone to murder someone? So even in their attempt to like show this love for the person, like, I don't hear you going out and preaching, trying to save pedophiles. You fucking love hating pedophiles. But isn't that just the sin? Isn't the pedophile part the sin? They're still human, right? Like, a guy murders his entire family. We love him, right? Like, are we reaching out to him? No, because they don't mean it. They don't. Sorry, I'm getting really heated.
Is the fire close? Did it jump a ridge?
Yeah. Although I did
get out of there.
I did hear sirens all of a sudden, which did make me nervous.
It's too simplistic.
It's too simplistic, yes.
So, yeah,
and it's also
judgmental.
No matter how simple it is, it's not true. It can't be true, because the thing you're asking these people to hate is a part of a person. Like, and I know this is too simple a comparison, but racism is very similar in that we're supposed to love Black people, but we're going to write into the Constitution that they're only 3/4 of a person. We're not going to love them totally because we can't, because there's something wrong with them. That's how it kind of feel, and then that's the thing that modern day fucking racists take with them, of like, there's something wrong with them, but I love them, but there's something wrong, because they're different. There's something wrong. Like, they used to actually believe that their skin tone was caused by sin. Like, that is crazy. And we know that's crazy
it's
today.
The curse of Cain.
But we're still doing that to gay people now. Like, we're still saying that, well, it's a demon. It's the devil, and we love them. Sorry, I'm not making any sense. I'm rambling.
No, you are. You 100% are. And I think, thinking back to when I was a pastor and trying to navigate my feelings about all of it, it's funny because I think you could find right now in a lot of different churches, I think you'll find a lot of young leaders who feel it in their bones that it's wrong to speak against a consenting adult's sexual preferences. And you know what I mean? And to speak against like how you've identified as your own person. You're saying, this is who I am, this is who I like, this is my whole person.
I didn't choose this.
This is just who I am. and to say that, and then to insert your opinion into their life as some sort of fact. I think you could find right now a lot of pastors who were uncomfortable with that. I certainly was one of them. And I think about like, well, then how did I adjust that in my brain? Like how could I just turn it off and just be like, well, just don't think about it. And I think it's one, there aren't a lot of gay people walking into an evangelical church. I don't know if you know that. Not a lot of open gay people.
Oh yeah, there's tons of gay people there. They're just
tons
deeply
of
unhappy.
gay people. So one, it's complete lack of interaction with people like that would make you. And I know I've said it 1,000 times on this podcast. Your wedding was a big moment for me, where there were feelings that I had about what the fuck is wrong with this, that I was just like pushing to the side and didn't want to think about, because I was in a community that I didn't know how they would respond to me saying those things. Would I lose everything else?
Did you
wrestle
with that? Did you wrestle with coming to my wedding at all? I wrestled with inviting you.
Every wedding I've been invited to, I think most people have wrestled with inviting me. But it's because I'm just such a good time.
Did you not want to come to my wedding?
Well, we had a conversation about it. Yes, I was conflicted, because I was like, well, hang on. I've always been told this was not okay. And I really believed that the life that was put in front of me, like following Jesus in the way I understood it in my tradition, I believed was the best life for every human being on the planet. And so the idea of celebrating you doing something that my tradition had said would not lead you to that life, yes, I felt tension in that. However, when it came down to it, and I remember when you started like making the plans and all these other things, I couldn't even begin to think about those things. I just wanted to support my brother. Like I wanted to be there. I wanted I couldn't imagine you and Curtis getting like celebrating in this way and I'm not there. That's fucking stupid. One of the final conversations I had with the leadership of the church at Church Redacted was about this. And it's actually one of the things I want to bring up to you. I'm sure you do know this is happening, but I know you haven't experienced it because you've been separated from the church for so long. And I wonder if there are queer people of faith who are running into this, and maybe you don't know it, or maybe you've had uncomfortable situations and you're like, oh, is that what was happening? A lot of these cool evangelical churches where Drew, I don't wear suits.
Yeah.
I wear jeans.
Cool.
Check out my pastor bulge.
Pastor bulge. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, pastor bulge. Standard
Cool.
Comes out of seminary now.
Yeah.
The church that I just came from refused to write down their theology around sexuality. They refused. Do you know why? Because these cool, hip evangelical churches are conservative Baptist churches dressed up with fog machines and fucking LED
Literal
screens.
smoke and mirrors. Literally.
Literal.
Yeah.
Literal. They don't want people to not walk through the doors.
Because they
and they can say all day long. They can say all day long it's about the mission. Fucking no, it's not. Can I give you a real story about this lesbian couple that came to my church, to my campus?
Yeah, it makes me feel bad. Do it.
Oh, so sorry. There are lists online of gay affirming churches when people want to like go find those in the area or whatever. There's also lists online of non-gay affirming churches so that gay couples with their families who want to go participate in that don't have to worry. And so those are on there. And the goal of these cool, hip evangelical churches is to not be on that list. It's gaslighting, and it's fake, and it's false, and it's not loving or caring. It's like, have you ever had someone that you kind of knew that maybe you haven't talked to in a while who called you and wanted to reconnect with you, and you're like, that is so cool that Marshall, that's
Mathers.
a Paw Patrol dog.
Marshall Mathers.
That Marshall Mathers has reached out and wants to grab lunch. I haven't seen him since the Marshall Mathers birthday party
Right.
on Marshall Mathers Day.
I love that day.
Then you go like hang out with them, and at the end of lunch they're like, have you ever wanted to be more financially secure? Have you ever wanted to be your own boss?
Yeah.
Do you have friends that you can sell shit to?
Yeah.
Congratulations, you're now an Herbalife representative.
What?
So,
I'm an entrepreneur?
So it is the same thing. They come in, you greet them, you hug them, you tell them you're so happy they're there, you treat their kids wonderfully. Everyone, they get like, here's the new gift that we give to people who visit for the first time, and someone asks them to lunch. Right? Well, let's be honest, no one asks them to lunch.
Right.
And they get this full
they
welcome
at least pointed
treatment
towards the lunch places.
And then the more they want to get involved, eventually they're going to hit a roadblock or someone's going to go, not for you. And that fucking sucks because you're communicating that they are valid and their love is valid and who they are is valid. You accept them. And then when they go, I want to get to know you better, you're like, oh, actually, fuck that. Stop loving your wife that you're committed to, that you committed yourself to for the rest of your life. Stop that. Break that promise. And then you can join my Sunday school class. It's bullshit. So I don't know,
though, Grant. I think you're really downplaying your worth as a Sunday school teacher. I've often contemplated getting a divorce simply so I could go to your Sunday school class. Don't sell yourself
honestly,
short, sport.
We're recording on Saturday. Tomorrow is Sunday. It's been so long since I've had to prep for church. Maybe I want to start a Sunday school class.
That'd be great.
Just online. Don't you think that would be a great use of my time?
I do. And you could have it at regular Sunday school time, which is 8 a.m. your time, 5 a.m. mine. And I'm in. You know what?
I love it.
Curtis, taking my ring off. I'm single. I'm ready to talk about Jesus and pussy.
Any of you viewers out there who are ready to also deny who you are and the people that you love and committed to, join us, won't you? Every Sunday.
8
a.m. Eastern.
You'll find us somewhere. We'll be there.
Someone at the church said, hey, I want to invite this friend of mine and her family. And I was like, of course, that's great. She's a lesbian, and so she's married to a woman, and they have 2 kids.
Did you throw up in
And
your
I was
mouth?
like, well, I immediately, for Anita Bryant's sake, I was like, whose kids did they take?
Yeah.
Whose kids are those?
Well, they groomed them.
Obviously. She said, would they be welcomed? And I was like, fuck yeah, they will. Why would we not? So they show up. They're super nice. They're wonderful. They have a great time. Their kids have a great time in the kids ministry thing. And they come back. And guess what, Drew? They don't just come back. They come back and want to volunteer to help with the kids ministry. Which
so they can groom them. Grant. I see right through it.
I missed it. Fuck. I was doing
This
that
is
whole
why you got fired.
love your neighbor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like, you know how many lesbians got in here because of you?
2.
They wanted to help. And I'm telling you, we were begging for people to go help in the children's ministry. That's the hardest thing to get people to want to do. So instead of going into the service and do what you want to do, sit with other people's kids.
You mean
it's the hardest
getting up
thing to get volunteers for.
On Sunday, your day off, you get to go babysit a bunch of kids for free?
Well, not for free. They're heavenly rewards.
Oh, of course. I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, they got eternal rewards.
Yeah, they got a bigger porch in their mansion or whatever.
They came back and they want to volunteer. And so the children's person comes to me and is like, can they do that? And I was like, fuck yeah, they can. That's awesome. So they come to the service 1 hour. Then they spend another hour of their time watching strangers' kids. Grooming. I don't know. Seems pretty Jesus-y to me. So they were great. Guess what? Do you think the Christians were cool about it? You think a lot of them were cool about it?
Yes.
Here's the thing. Some of them were. And honestly, someone told me, someone that went to our campus, he told me that he had to completely rethink his relationship to gay people because of the way that I talked about you. Like when I talked about you, I would talk about how much I love you and how proud of you I was and whatever. And he said, like, I had to stop and think, like, what the fuck is my problem? And then not too long after, his adult son came out to him. And he said, if I hadn't been in this church, I don't know what I would have done. I was able to hug him and tell him I loved him and I accepted him and I'm proud of him. And he said, I don't know if I would have done that. So Drew, you changed a church person's life. Congratulations.
Yeah. So you know how you were just saying that they earned heavenly rewards? Well, you and I have earned hell rewards with that story.
We have such a dope loft.
Because, oh my God, and it's next to a college dorm. It's not in a college dorm, but it's basically the college dorm. Yeah. And we share the bathrooms with the college dorm. And that is
hell. It is hell.
You only get to share bathrooms with college kids if you've helped a gay guy come out to his dad.
Well, why would they punish us down there for us doing what they want us to do?
It's not a punishment.
I've never understood that.
Using a bathroom with college kids?
Yeah, absolutely. That's all of our dreams, of course. What I'm saying is, I'm agreeing with you. I've never understood why the traditional Christian view is that the devil is there to punish sinners when we're literally doing what he wants. You're telling me God's going, hey, devil, I need you to punish them. And the devil's like, yeah, I follow rules. That's me, the devil. I'm known for following rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be a
Although,
star down there.
let
People
me
would love
tell
it.
you, I did watch The Judge from Hell on Hulu. It's a K-drama. And
Yes,
basically this
you've mentioned
woman,
it.
she specifically, there are different judges for different kinds of sinners. And she's the judge that condemns murderers to hell. And she loves
Yes.
doing it.
Who
but it's
wouldn't?
because she fully believes in right and wrong. And if you do something really bad, you must be punished. And so she doesn't get joy if they're doing something bad. She's getting joy that she gets to do her job. Do you understand?
I like the idea that to take what you just said and apply it to the analogy of the devil is the ultimate rebel loves to do his job well.
Yes. Proud of
Okay.
it.
So
He's a spider in that show.
The lesbian
Spider.
couple.
Mm-hmm.
The lesbian couple serves in the children's ministry. Wonderful. Of course, some people were cool. Don't get me wrong. But of course, some people weren't. Now, they didn't say anything to them or whatever, but they came and complained to me, which I appreciated that they did come to me. I didn't make it much better for them because they wanted me to agree with them blindly, I suppose. And so after having some really lame conversations, I was like, look, I'm not going to fucking do anything about this. Like, I'm going to call them today and tell them thank you for doing the thing that nobody fucking wants to do. And like literally think about this. These women showed up, they got 1 week of this, and then we're like, oh, we should give back. We shouldn't just freeload. Like, we should be a part of this.
Grant,
And
they're
it was
grooming.
just so incredible.
They saw an opportunity to turn
Well,
kids gay.
let me tell you, they didn't groom long because
Lazy.
no one fucking said anything to them directly. They didn't fucking have to.
Oh, because
That's the truth. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were rude. Now, I never saw it or whatever. Like, no one confronted them. We're like, get away from my kids. But like the people that they met day one, they did not get the same reception week 3. You know what I mean? It's fucking lying, churches. And so like here's what I would say. If you're a queer person, you're trying to find a church to attend, fucking make sure they're gay affirming, because these cool hip churches that you're like, there's no way that they wouldn't like it. Look, that guy's wearing a jean jacket. If they aren't saying that they affirm gay people, it's on purpose, because that's what was happening.
If the pastor's wearing a jean
at my
jacket,
church.
that is not gay affirming. Sorry.
Oh, even lesbians? Lesbians love this shit.
They love the shearling, the shearling of it. Mostly
I'll just
because
turn
of
it inside out.
the comfort.
I fucking
And
hate that.
gingham.
I hate it.
You fucking freak. Or plaid. Is that
Gingham.
called plaid in your life? I don't know. It
Plaid.
looks like Dorothy's
What'd you say,
dress,
gingham?
but it's bigger. Isn't that
Yes,
gingham?
plaid. I call that plaid. I don't know what you call it.
Isn't plaid, it has more than just the squares, it's lines too. That's
Oh,
gingham,
I don't know.
right?
Hey, but to all the people on TikTok this week saying that I'm just as zesty as you, look, I didn't know about patterns.
Yeah, girly pop, that's gingham.
Stereotypes. That fucking sucks. The bait and switch fucking sucks, and I hate
Yeah,
it.
that's the thing. But here's the thing, and it feels good to talk it out and like to just get it off our chests. And it feels good to at least warn people who may be seeking out those environments. That feels good. Will we change them? Absolutely not. They are in their own, they're dealing with their own source of reality. They don't deal
The
in
wildfire
fact.
will.
Well,
The wildfire will cleanse us all.
I did see a wildfire burning a church, and I was like, oh,
It's gonna make you feel good.
No, it made me feel terrible. Think of all of remember all the homeless people that Bellevue would let stay all the time there and like feed them. What are they going to do?
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Oh, oops.
I started this by saying like there's all these horrible teachings inside these churches, like hate to sin, don't hate the sinner, whatever. And you were giving your perspective about like, oh, so just hate this huge part of myself, but you don't hate me. You just hate like the person I fucking am. Can I ask you, like, especially for people who are listening who may still be struggling with a lot of that, how did you even begin to unearth the fact that you have internalized those teachings? Because I wonder if some people don't even know. And then how did you even begin to combat that?
I didn't for a very long time.
Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, you're making a serious point.
I didn't. It's over. It's over. I just said, don't think about it.
And now fire's coming for me. I'm going to take a gummy.
I'm not going to think about that. I shouldn't take a gummy tonight due to the fires. But every other time I have, a new fire has come. So I feel like
so stop.
I should
Stop
take a
doing
couple more. Maybe they'll burn out the other fires.
Fight fire with fire.
One thing that I think a lot of people who haven't gone through growing up queer in a religious community, you don't know what you don't know. And so I think a lot of people, and the Anita Bryant of it all think that gay people are these like evil, plotting people who know what they're doing is wrong and they're doing it anyway because there's an evil inside of them. But no, I thought, I mean, I was told, I didn't fully understand it, I don't think, but I thought there was a God. I thought there was a Jesus. I thought I was evil. Like I didn't know that there were other kinds of life available to me in the world. So
Yeah.
when I was an adult going out into the world, I'm fighting this secret evil battle in my mind, and it
Sure.
got too much. And that's when it was in college. I mean, the sex addiction definitely started in high school, but it really ramped up in college. And all of my 20s, partially into my 30s, I just didn't deal with it. I used sex and alcohol as an escape to never have to deal with it.
And you don't recommend that. I want to be clear. We had no on that.
Hang on a second. Let me just think about it. Okay, maybe doing sex addiction and alcohol like for one night is kind of fun.
If you can get addicted for one night, be unaddicted in the morning.
Yeah, stop the addiction in the morning though. That's annoying.
Yeah,
you got a job.
You've got stuff to do.
No, I was living
You gotta pay for the addiction somehow.
this life where I just thought like, well, I'm gonna die young anyway.
Did you really believe that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I honestly
when did you start that? When did that belief start in you? I said you started that. You didn't start that. When did that belief start in you?
Do you remember when, oh, this is so dark. Do you remember when the
buddy.
ex-husband of Dad's secretary came out as gay? That's why they got the divorce. Remember her dad made us our purity rings?
Yes.
And then he gave his testimony.
He died recently.
Of
Purity
AIDS
ring guy.
complications?
No.
Oh.
Unfortunately. Just
Well,
regular.
I remember. Of the dad.
Unleaded.
The dad died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Riyadh.
because this guy died. So he came to the church, and they did this big, not in person, it was on video, but they showed it on all the big screens. They recorded it at one of the giant film studios in our megachurch. And he talked about how he followed a life of sin because he followed these gay things that he always had, but he lost his marriage. He now has HIV. He's dying. We were really young when this happened. And I remember thinking, okay, gay
This was
equals...
shown in the church.
Yes.
This was shown in a church service.
Yes, because he was sharing his testimony of how, like, even though now he's dying because of the devil, he's thankful that, like, he's going to go to heaven anyway because he's...
And by the way, our
repentant.
church believed that you go to the service when you're a kid. Like a lot of the modern churches, they separate kids away from the adults. So no, we were all in there. So if you were 5 years old and up, or 6 years old and up, like kindergarten and up, then you were in the service. So kindergartners sitting there watching what you just described. That is cool.
It scared the hell out of me. It scared me to death. And
apparently not.
Oh, I guess it didn't. It honestly scared the hell, I think, wider in me. Is that the thing?
It got a little bit bigger.
Widened
yeah.
it.
It widened, yeah.
And then when I came out to Dad, the first thing he said was how worried he was about HIV, and he had known someone who died. And I was a sex addict with no sex education, and I just assumed I would be dead.
Yeah.
I just assumed I would be dead. Even as an adult, I went to a doctor once when I was teaching in Louisville, and he gave me this big speech about how the only good thing to come out of gay sex, or not good thing, I'm sorry, I don't want to demonize him rightfully. The only guarantee you can get from having sex with someone of the same sex is death. That whatever he's testing me for, because I went because I had an STD. Yeah.
Guarantee.
Yeah. I went because I had an STD, and he said, the only guarantee I can tell you about this is death. Yeah. A doctor. And I was 21,
That's
22,
not a good doctor.
And scared, and it was awful. It was awful. Anyway, I just assumed I'd be dead.
Oh my
I remember turning
God.
30 and being like, oh my God, I turned 30. That's crazy.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Your experience is
Fun.
So, yeah. But it's so specific to like an evangelical upbringing. You saw that fucked up video. Mm-hmm. You grew up in that culture like that, right? And we grew up in that time where, I mean, we were born in the AIDS crisis, right? Mm-hmm. And so
Before
that was still
kind of, sort of. But yeah.
Yeah. But it's like lingering in the background of our childhood.
Yeah.
And so can I ask you, you having obviously other queer friends who did not grow up in the experience and have the experience that we had, do you find that them believing that they're not going to live very long, is that a common thing, or is that like a religious thing? Do you think that's very specific to you? Is this a common experience in the queer community?
I don't want to speak that broadly because I will admit that most of the gay people I think I've had significant kind of interactions, relationships with that are my age went through something similar in some way, shape, or form. And even if their parents weren't in a church saying like they're devils, the AIDS crisis in the 90s was a mystery. Early COVID days, you're wiping down your groceries mystery.
Yeah.
Princess Diana holding the hand of someone with AIDS was like shocking. How could she do that? She's a mother. How could she hold that hand? Like, she's going to get AIDS now. So I think all queer people, to some degree, I imagine, had some similar kind of, I'm in danger. I'm always in danger. But I will say, even if they didn't have that experience, like, yeah, I think in one way or another, gay people always feel like they could be attacked at any moment. And Matthew Shepard's murder loomed heavy over me. Matthew Shepard was a gay man who went to a bar, was talking to these guys at the bar, just drinking at a bar. And the guys decided they wanted to kill him because he was gay. So they drove him out to the middle of nowhere, tied him to a fence, and beat him to death. And that
was not a big deal in our church.
No, not at all.
A horrific hate
It started
crime.
The Trevor Project and
like
all of like all these new things, well, not new, but all of these groups and associations, the Matthew Shepard Foundation, like it all kind of helped fuel all of this. And it really, his death, unfortunately, and I know it sucks, but he was a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, young kid from an affluent white Christian family. So that's why it took off, unfortunately, because black and brown people are killed at a much higher rate. Trans people, like, I think we all have our own worry about our mortality. I think it's the only thing I feel safe saying, because
I'll say straight cisgender people, we worry that we're going to live too long. That's what we're worried about. Like, am I going to have enough retirement?
Men,
I feel like I'm too safe. I'm way too safe. And I'm just
terrible
like,
genes,
I don't want to be. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here that long.
You will get cancer. You won't survive much longer.
God, I hope it's you. God, I hope it's you, not me.
I hope it is too, because I got to be honest, I'm not helping raise your kids. I'd rather be that funny gay uncle that go to throw French fries on his grave. But yeah, I think it's just something that we all kind of do, especially people in our generation, like people our age. I think we all just kind of felt still to a degree, feel under attack all the time. I don't know. It's bummer. I'm just getting really sad.
So your message of hope
is it sad? No, the message of hope is that even if you're trying to kill yourself with a sex and alcohol addiction, you won't die.
You're probably not going to be able to.
Listen, I tried everything. I did so many dangerous things. I should be dead.
Yeah, you're probably going to be fine. So don't even worry about
This is dark. Actually, can I also, since we're down here, since we're at the bottom,
let's tidy up while we're down here. We never get around to it.
I know. I do want to share, I did get some bad news about Monday. I had an appointment on Monday that got canceled because now the fires are supposed to get really bad on Monday. Because the wind is getting really bad again. And so we had to cancel an appointment that I was really excited about. I don't know. I'm just bummed. It just kind of killed my mood for the day because we were supposed to record 2 episodes of IMHO The Podcast in studio in Burbank at Studio 71. And we had to cancel it because of the fires.
So,
oh my God.
Drew,
I forgot to tell you. We started a podcast. Oh my God.
I do like that your telling of IMHO The Podcast is in the darkest place of our podcast.
The fires.
This is where it belongs.
Listen, trans rights. I was trying to transition out of that into a height, but it always gets darker before the dawn and the such as. That's what the lyrics say.
So yes, Drew, you do have something that's incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
Which is the IMHO The Podcast, which is not IMHO The Show. The primary difference is you're not doing RuPaul's Drag Race.
We're not
reviews
reviewing television shows. No.
At all.
No.
Only radio.
If someone brings up RuPaul at all while I'm on microphone.
If it's
I'm
not
gonna
RuPaul herself.
Well, if it's her herself, I would be disappointed if she didn't bring herself up. That'd be super weird. We would just sit in silence.
She didn't want to talk
until
about
she
you
did.
at all.
That's super weird. It's something that people have been asking for a long time. And when we moved to LA, we talked to a couple podcast studios, but you know, such is life. Things happen. Now, Studio 71, yeah, they signed us a while ago, and it's been kind of a slow process, a longer process than I thought, to be honest. But I'm really excited. It's the same network that does Trixie and Katya's, Bob and Monet's. Like, we're sharing an engineer with Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald. As soon as that skinny bitch leaves, I walk
Juicy
in.
Scoop, baby.
So she's
Another
really
skinny
mean.
bitch.
She's really mean to people in public.
So is Darby.
I'm going to confront her when she leaves the studio. I'm going to say, "Are you kind of a bitch in public? Why are you like that?" I don't know. I'll wait until like
That'll
we've got
go
a
well.
couple episodes in the can. But yeah, so
Yeah.
IMHO the show now on the internet. I do want to, people are having trouble finding it sometimes. I do want to say we will have the link in the description of this episode. It helps if you use the link because they're tracking it, and I don't know. I was told to use the link. But if you can't use the link, you have to search "In My Homosexual Opinion" because there are already 400 podcasts named IMHO. Yeah. None of them are active or successful. Like, they're not like, oh,
They're just
we're
out
competing.
there.
They're
They're just
out
like
there.
taking up space.
Yeah.
With
so
that name.
If
That's
you can't
awesome.
find us, search "In My Homosexual Opinion," and
I'm going to start
us.
an In My Homosexual Opinion dead podcast just to confuse people as they try to find it.
I think it's fun to like have, you know, to take the bones of others and build a new thing for us.
Yep, that's why you had to go live with our aunt and uncle for a summer. Remember? Kept digging up bones.
She had to wear oxygen all the time, so she couldn't fly on planes.
When we wrap this episode up, which we're about to do, if you guys will stay tuned after our wrap-up music, I'm going to go ahead and put the IMHO The Podcast trailer so you guys can enjoy
and I want to
it
say
at the end of this episode.
It is Alexis and her boyfriend wrote the music. Well, her boyfriend wrote the
so
music.
good.
Alexis wrote the lyrics and sang it.
It's so good.
It's so cute. I Barely Care
really
on Instagram drew us. All the artwork is I Barely Care. Bear, Bear. Get it? Because he's a bear. I Barely Care. Is that funny?
I get it.
And then
Funny.
my internet friend Josh helped me with the logo. But I'm really excited. The
logo is amazing.
Everyone
it all
has
looks great.
Thank you so much.
Love
Everyone
it.
has a podcast, including you, Grant. So you know anyone can do it. In LA, I gotta be honest with you, podcasts are how people connect. We've done so many podcasts since we moved here, none of which I think anyone has heard, with the exception of maybe two. I'm really excited to have a studio now because we've had people that I love contact us and be like, "I want to be on the show. I love your show. I want to be on the show." We don't do it often because, number one, it is so annoying to try and review Drag Race with a guest. Like, I'm so happy they're there and I'm happy they're doing it with us. But, like, that's not fun for us all the time. Like, I get excited to talk about the episode. Depends on Alexis on that day. And then it's all the, like... We got to make sure we do this. We got to make sure we cover this while we have a guest. And it's in my house. It's stressful to do.
It's a lot, yeah.
And so the fact that we have a studio, you know, and be like, okay, yeah, sure. Here's our producer's number. Like, set up a date. I don't know. It just feels really like, I feel really grown up. I'm excited to
It
have,
sounds
like,
cool, too, to say, like, call our producer.
Hell yeah.
Like, this is you and me. I'll be
Technically,
editing it.
Jesus is our producer, and he's very quiet these days.
He's my co-pilot. I don't drive faster than my guardian angel can fly.
Oh my God, someone sent me a picture. I think it was Rachel.
God's
my
gem.
friend Rachel sent me a picture of... Okay, so my friend Rachel fled the fires and is in Santa Clarita, which is not exactly out of the fire zone, but it's way further out. They're going through...
The Rachel I know. Comedian Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel Relman. So funny. They're
Very
in...
funny.
They're walking through all these little, like, gift shops and stuff in town. And they said, Santa Clarita is an incredible Jesus-loving town. One of them, it's a necklace, and it says, "Coffee gets me started, but Jesus keeps me going."
Oh, there's tons of stuff like that in the Walmart by my house.
And this is a card, and it says, "Me. No screens for the whole weekend." And then it skips down. It says, "If divorce were a facial expression, my husband just asked for one." He wants the
That's pretty good.
screens. Anyway,
Give the
that made me
boy his
laugh.
screens.
So please go subscribe. We
Yeah,
are
it's exciting.
so
We'll put the link up.
excited. The first episode
Be in the
comes
show
out
notes.
this Thursday. The trailer's already out, but you'll hear it at the end of this. But the first episode comes out this Thursday, and I'm really excited about it. Our second episode next week will be with a guest. We're going to try to
Can I
do like
ask
1
you-
week on, 1 week off with guests. What?
Oh, guess. How much of the first episode do you talk about me?
If I had to make we recorded it a while ago, but if I had to guess, and I'm really thinking about it.
Yeah? I like how long it's taking you. That normally means it's something good.
Not at all. Not at all. Who would you like to see guest on IMHO The Podcast?
Unsubscribe. Realistically?
Realistically? What the fuck does that mean? I'm connected.
I mean, Drew, you're not getting like RuPaul. You know what I mean?
well,
like,
no, RuPaul she would hate that, actually. She would
Yeah,
burn
she would not.
my house down,
wouldn't
even
do
if the
that.
fires don't. She would make sure it does.
Joe Biden.
And you know what? He
needs
would
something to
have no idea what show he was on. I could just tell him this is a briefing. And he'd be like,
He'd
"Oh,
love it.
that's so great.
I'm still important.
Oh, wow.
Someone
No,
got my bike out
I
there.
want to have like
My
all
dog
the,
biting somebody?
I want the comedians I've interacted with in the world, like out in the gay LA world. I want to sit them down and go, what makes you laugh? Like Caleb Heron. I love Caleb. And
Who doesn't?
As
soon as I Google Caleb, I will be even more excited.
You don't know who Caleb Heron is, Grant?
Dude, I don't know. Hang on, shut up. Oh, yeah, of course. Caleb
love
Heron
him.
is on like every 3 videos I see on TikTok when I'm scrolling. One
He's
is gonna
so
be a
nice.
Caleb
We
Heron
went
video.
to his comedy show once, and
Careful.
What? Comedy? Oh, because every time I
Doesn't
go to a
matter.
comedy show, someone dies.
Someone dies, yeah.
I will
It's
have you
okay.
know, Curtis's grandmother passed last week, and
You were at a comedy show.
we were not at a comedy show.
What were you at?
We were at home making each other giggle. I was too funny.
I know that's not true. As we
Anyway,
wrap
love you,
up
Grandma.
here, I
Go
want to thank our patrons. I want to thank everyone on Patreon.
Thanks.
It's just such a cool community. In fact, so we did the Secret Santa thing. We did the first Twinnuendo gift exchange,
Yeah.
and I finally got mine today. It is January 12th. Better late than never. Love you. I don't know who you are, and I don't.
How do we
no
find out who
judgment.
they are? How do we do that?
I can tell you.
Aren't you
But I
a
don't.
part?
But I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to just be like, "Hey, everybody, it was Sarah." Like, I don't know.
Is there not a way, if you control it, can you do it through the app? Can
Maybe.
you say reveal?
Maybe I'll look.
I
But
wanna
anyway, I got this sweet dry erase board for my desk. I wanted it, like easels and stuff. It's really cool.
Oh, that's so
But-
nice.
I got this as well. It's this little zipper pouch. I know it looks unassuming, and they, I don't know who it was. This person, a human being, wrote "not safe for work" on it, like before I opened it. I was like, that's weird. Look on the inside. It's my favorite Righteous Gemstones quote from Judy.
No.
I'm going to move to Malibu Beach, shave my pussy, learn to surf. Judy Gemstone. How great is that?
Why you gotta shave your pussy?
So I can surf faster.
Yeah,
I
that's great.
love this with all my
great.
heart. Anyway, so all the people on Patreon, it's such a cool community. I can't believe you're there. I love it. Thank you. And I
welcome.
also would like to announce something for our patrons.
Okay.
January 26th, Drew, coming up. January 26th.
It's January 6th plus 20.
Plus 20, so it's on a Sunday. Obviously, that's math. We're going to have a watch party. Drew and I are going to join you to watch a terrible Christian movie. And you go, what Christian movie? Stop asking questions. We're not sure yet. But we're going to watch it at
I have a
noon
couple
Pacific
ideas.
time,
I have a couple ideas.
3 p.m. Eastern. Do you have a couple off the top of your head right now? Like, do you have
Why
a
don't
couple
we
titles?
let Patreon decide? Why don't we put the few choices that we like, and Patreon will vote?
Make a poll.
Yeah.
So if you're an Olsen tier, this is for you, and we will have the thing there. But look, it's happening this month, and so if you're not Olsen tier and you want to upgrade to Olsen tier to watch a movie with us, that would be great. Have you ever been in a movie theater and you're like, man, this is funny. This is a funny movie. I'm having a good time. I really wish there were twins that were behind me talking the whole time.
Over it. Yeah.
You're going to love this. So that is coming up January 26th, watch party, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and it's going to be grand. So that's for Olsen tier. So jump on Patreon, vote. Anyway, Drew, do you have any parting words before we all have to sit through your podcast trailer?
I think it was Abraham Lincoln that once said.
It was? Mm-hmm.
Ow.
Thanks, everybody.
Hi, I'm Alexis P. Bevels.
And I'm Darby.
And we have a podcast.
Finally, 2 drag queens with a podcast.
It's called IMHO.
In my homosexual opinion.
That's right. We've got opinions.
Gay ones.
And we're ready to share them with you in this brand new, never-before attempted podcast format. 2 people sharing their opinions at one another.
Wait, Alexis, aren't most podcasts just 2 people sharing their opinions at one another?
Well, yeah, I know, but it's so much more than that. People are going to write in and ask us questions, and we're going to give them our advice and opinions about what we think they should do. Oh, and they're going to send us crazy stories, like if they've ever seen a dead body or if they've ever crashed a wedding.
Okay, I've done both at the same time. It's a really funny story.
Plus, people are going to want to hear what 2 drag queens have to say about stuff like pop culture, politics, religion. Also, one time the kid in front of me who was sitting in front of me in Bible class puked down his shirt.
Why? Like at the exorcism thing?
No, I just thought it was an interesting sort of anatomically. He was really acting normal himself, and all of a sudden he just stopped and he like did his face like in his shirt, like he just lifted up his collar and he just puked in his shirt. And I remember it trailed around his body and out the back because his shirt had come untucked in the back, but it was still tucked in the front. So it kind of filled and spilled through the back of the chair right in front of me. And I remember thinking like, God is here right now with that, because it's pretty amazing, but it's also gross.
Alexis, why would you include a clip like that in the trailer? Our podcast is not just gross stuff.
Well, you're right. It won't always be about gross stuff. We do talk about real things, like jobs.
When I was a teacher, we all had our favorite students, right? Like we all had the kid that we were just drawn to.
Yeah.
One of my favorites was a kid whose eyeball popped out whenever he sneezed. Why do you keep playing these clips? Our podcast is about advice and opinion. We are serious journalists.
You are so right. Opinions. No one is safe from a drag queen's opinion, not even ourselves.
Because listeners will likely hear us snapping at each other in real time, and who knows, you might even cry.
But we always make up because we are best friends.
Coworkers. Some would say coworkers.
That's right. We are best friend drag queens, and we are bringing you IMHO The Show.
The pod.
Every Thursday.
Wherever you get your podcasts.
It's in my homosexual opinion. IMHO The Show.